back to our corner of Maine. Today is my birthday. It's my 27th year around the sun. Can you say good morning, St. Albans? Say good morning. So we're out for a walk on my birthday. We did a little bit of shopping and now we are catching some sun. It's only 32 degrees, but
yeah, it's kind of chilly out.
It's worth getting out though. We wanted to mention that this is sort of a slow time of year for us. Yes, we did Maine Maple Sunday and we've had some parties recently, but
yeah.
As far as our typical activities, it's a slow time of year.
As the weather warms up, not only do we do more around the house as far as, you know, gardening, a couple small renovation and landscaping projects, but also the farm really picks up because
absolutely,
that's when we're doing planting our crops, doing hay.
Yeah. So that's some sort of things you can look forward to.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a tour of the farm. We're going to tell you a little bit of the history of it.
Yep.
And then of course you'll be involved in our planting and harvesting and stuff.
And also as we kind of get out of the house, camping, hiking, fishing.
We have landscaping, some small renovation projects this summer that we're probably tackling mostly ourselves.
Yeah.
And in general, just a lot more going on, but right now it's just slow.
It's slow.
But one thing we are doing now, before the weather gets good, is brewing beer.
Yes, we're going to now head to our local homebrew store and get set up. I have all the brewing equipment, but one thing I do not have is kegging equipment. And so I'd like to go order that stuff. And so hopefully I can start brewing a batch of beer soon. So.
Let's go.
Alright. Craft beer is a little bit of a hobby of mine. I really enjoy going to different breweries and tap rooms and trying all the different styles that they offer. And I love brewing beer myself. I've brewed 5 or 6 times, and honestly the reason I don't do it more often is because bottling is a big pain in the neck. There's bottles and water everywhere, everything has to be sanitized 3 or 4 times. And so I'd like to get this kegging equipment because it's a lot faster and just less of a mess. So we're at the homebrew store now. They're most likely going to have to order it, but we're just going to get the ball rolling so we can brew soon. The store ended up having to order my keg, but that's okay because it was here in like 2 days. This is where I keep all my brewing equipment down in the basement when I'm not using it. This is my brew kettle here. The 2 coolers are my mash tun and hot liquor tank. That's a fermentation bucket. And this is the keg and CO2 tank, which I just had come in, which I'm really excited about because that means I'm done with bottling and it's going to be a big time saver. And I will do more of a description on what each piece is on the actual brew day, which will hopefully be in 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm excited about it because I haven't brewed in a while. So I've had a motorcycle for 5 years, and the first few years I had it, I loved it. I rode it all the time. But the last couple, I just have not had the interest. I haven't hardly put any miles on it. And so I'm going to try to sell it this spring. And I have it overwintered at my father-in-law's house, and I'm going to try to sell it right there because he has a lot more cars drive by. But right now I need to go over and do some pre-sale work to it. I need to put some different parts on it and also see if the carburetors need to be cleaned. But that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to head over there and do a little bit of work to the motorcycle before we sell it. So this is the bike. The battery's dead, so we can kind of jump it and get it started. And then we're going to try to drain the fuel out so we can put some fresh gas in and see if the carburetors need to be cleaned. I need to put the stock exhaust on, get it a little bit more saleable than what it is right now. we're on our way home now, and we did get the gas drained out of the tank and got the new stuff in there, which is ethanol free, which is good for the carburetors, and it started running smoother already, which is exciting. I don't think we're gonna have to clean the carburetor, so it saved me some work. And
kind of step 1 of 2 done.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do what I did tonight again when I get some time, and then I'm gonna clean it and get it up for sale and hopefully sell it sooner than later. So yeah, overall a pretty productive night, and got to spend some time with family too.
Can I talk about these roads?
Yeah, there.
Because we pay good tax dollars. Whoa. That could not have been better timing. These roads are awful. We have a newer vehicle that's supposed to like handle these pretty well. I tell you what. There's no good It's like a roller coaster.
There's no good way of traversing these roads in the month of April, so the frosties are just crazy.
It's just spring in Maine, but I tell you what, you need to make these roads better with our money. They're wrecking our vehicles.
I know.
Anyways.
Come to Maine in summertime.
Yeah. Today's April 2nd, and it was 6 years ago today that Ben and I met. And so we thought it would be a perfect opportunity to sort of reminisce and tell you the story of how we met and how we began.
Yeah, we're out walking through the woods on this nice spring day, and so we'll find a spot to stop and just tell you our quick story. So right now we're just walking on a woodlot that the farm owns, and we actually cut it last winter. That's why there's not many trees, but you can see the big difference between the amount of snow in our yard, where it gets a lot of sun and wind, and in the woods there's still a couple feet of snow, so we need our snowshoes on today.
So it was spring of 2013, and my friends and I had started a Bible study that we called Reach. And we had just invited the local community that was like college and career aged, and Ben heard about it through a friend?
Yeah, through a friend of a friend, and which was extremely unlike me because I'm a little bit of an introvert.
Looking back, the fact that he came alone, being an introvert, is kind of a big step in and of itself.
So I went to this Bible study by myself, and I walked down into this cafe of a hotel, and Meredith was behind the desk serving coffee, and I think she was actually the first person who greeted me. There was probably 25 or 30 people there, and
I remember it too. He didn't catch my eye that first week, but I remember it. I remember what he was wearing too, which is such an odd thing. He was wearing a Yamaha sweatshirt, and we just shook hands across the coffee bar.
And I think that was all that was said.
That was the only interaction that whole first night. Yeah. It was the second week that he kind of caught my eye a little bit more, and just kind of wanted to get to know him a little bit, and I don't know if we interacted much anymore. Or...
Well, it was that night that we signed up for individual small groups
to meet in people's homes, in addition to this Bible study in the community.
And so I signed up for one, and I think you might have gotten my number off of the sheet.
Yeah, so I was a little bit bold because he was interesting to me and I wanted to get to know him, and I was sort of part of leadership of this Bible study, so I had access to the sign-up sheet, and I may have taken his number off the sign-up sheet to ask him if he was coming, and that was my duty as leadership, which totally it wasn't. But that's how I got his number, and I messaged you if you were coming, right?
Yep. And so once we started going to that Bible study, we would just kind of hang out after everybody else left and
we'd
talk
stand by our cars, yeah.
Until eventually we actually started hanging out. We'd go fishing. What else did we do?
Fishing, campfires, just four-wheeling.
Yeah, we went to a movie. We just would hang out.
A couple times by ourselves, but it was never classified as a date.
Right.
Until he finally got the courage, and I just think it's so sweet how he asked me.
We had a bet. I think it was who would catch the biggest fish, or I can't remember exactly what the bet was.
We had gone fishing that day for sure.
But I'd bet her $10, and
I outfished him.
Yep. And I said, instead of the $10, how about I take you out to dinner?
Yes, but he didn't even really have the courage to look me in the eye. We were sitting around a campfire, and he kind of just looked into the campfire and asked the question, and I was just beaming. I was so excited.
And she said yes.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
And so it was about a week. I think it was a week till that date that we had set. And in true Mainer fashion, our first date included dinner and a demolition derby.
Not very classy, but
yeah.
oh well.
I liked it.
Yeah,
we enjoyed
had fun.
ourselves.
And afterwards, we went on this river walk.
And this is not along the Kennebec and Skowhegan.
Yes, and at the end of the walk, there was a spot to kind of climb down over the bank, and
to get to the water's edge.
We hopped out on some rocks, so we were standing out into the water.
And that was the first time he held my hand as he was helping me across the rocks.
Yeah, and it was there that I asked her to be my girlfriend, and she said yes.
I said yes.
So.
Best yes ever.
Yeah.
Until the next yes.
Yeah.
But that's a little story of how we began, and I hope that helps you get to know us a little bit better.
And later on, we will share our engagement story.
Yeah, we'll share snippets of our story throughout our vlogs of our relationship and growing our family and our lifestyle. So.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for your continued support.
Yes, please be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next Thursday.